knock. Johnny, knock, knock. I'm trying to get what you're doing. I'm sorry. Joshua, knock, knock.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who there? Poopy hat. Don't say that word at all. Poopy hat. It's a poopy hat.
Don't say that.
Joshua when he was born, he had a hearing loss. And that was something it was not in the family. It was something a little unusual that we weren't sure what was going on. He also, when he was born, he had toes that were deformed and didn't really know what that was all about either. The doctors were looking into it. By this point, he was 3 months old. A genetic doctor came in and saw him, and she had realized that he had FOP.
FOP is an extremely rare condition. It's called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. It's a really long, complicated name. But it basically means that connective tissue slowly turns into bone, and it's progressive.
It's irreversible. It locks your joints wherever wherever a flare-up is in the body. It can lock that joint, whether it be the elbow, the hip, the knee, and prevents the person from moving.
Right now, we don't have a cure and a definitive treatment for FOP.
When he was 3 months old, they actually thought that he had a lump here, and they thought it was cancerous. So they ended up taking a biopsy. So they cut from here all the way down to here, and it's just over the years now, he just has more and more bone growth all over the back area, which is obviously causing his arms to lock up, and his it goes up into the neck area, so it causes that to lock up as well. And he gets bumps on his head, but those seem to go away and don't cause too much harm. It's more the ones around the shoulder area, which is, he's losing the movement then in his arms. But it's, it started out as one bump, and
Mommy.
Now we've got lots.
FOP is cruel enough. It comes and it steals mobility and independence from kids, and that's a horrible thing. So don't take childhood away from the children more than FOP does. Let them be kids.
Our biggest thing is we want to let him be a kid, and I want him to experience all the kids' things that he can.
All right, get going. We're gonna read. Go.
What I want the world to know about Joshua is that he is a wonderful child. He's very special. He's funny. He's so happy. He's playful. And I mean, I don't even think that he realizes he has something wrong with him.
He's starting to. But
it doesn't hold him back. It doesn't stop him from being a kid.
Here, bring your foot up. Step there. Now step down. Step down. There you go. Next one. Climb it just like a ladder. There you go. You can't pull his arms. They're locked.
They're locked.
Yeah. He's got a genetic disease. Go ahead.
Sorry?
He's got a genetic disease. His back and his arms and his neck are fused.
Okay.
There you go. Keep going. Good job, buddy.
Let me ask, what's it called?
FOP? You all right? What'd you do? Bump your knee. Huh? Your back. Thank you. Here, come here. I'll lift you over. Over you go. Come here. I'll carry you. I'll carry you. Your back hurt, huh? The seat's not padded. It can hurt. I mean, that's all hard bone. It's no different than me tapping you on the top of the head. It's gonna hurt, and that's what he feels.
He does, but I think that for the most part, his back hurts. Whether he's flaring or not, if you put him up against a hard surface on his back, he's gonna say it hurts. Josh definitely is restricted in his neck and his shoulders, so he doesn't have that mobility, and Don't get me wrong, he'll still climb and everything else, but he's got to find ways to do it. When we go to the playground with Josh, we have to make sure that he's protected with knee pads, elbow pads, a helmet. Really, I mean, if there's anything else that I could use, I would, but we just have to try to keep him as protected as possible.
Where are we going?
Just down to the school. Come on.
I want
Get in
this
there.
one.
You need it to ride down. Come
I
on.
want this.
You want this one?
No.
We have to take the extra precautions just to make sure that he doesn't injure himself in any way, because any kind of deep trauma to his body, like deep tissue injury trauma, can cause him to have flare-ups from his FOP. You're crazy.
I got all the way back up. I made it.
Good job.
Okay.
You almost need another 4-year-old next to him to see the difference in how his movement is compared to a typical 4-year-old who's, you know, running all over the place and just running down the steps, whereas he's just, you know, he steps, he holds on, he's really good, he's cautious.
Daddy,
What?
come here. I thought something. You help me climb on that?
I don't know, Bubba. I don't know if you can grab it. Ready?
Yeah.
Watch his head. Watch his head is going to hit the one ring, Dave, because his arms aren't going to reach.
You're not going to be able to hold on, bud.
I can. See?
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to go to the next one.
Hey, that's okay, he just wants to hang on. Are you just hanging on like a monkey?
Yeah.
You're hanging on like a monkey? How does monkeys go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
You know what?
FOP is one of the rarest diseases in the world. It affects 1 in 2 million individuals, and we define rare diseases by statistically those conditions that affect fewer than 1 in 100,000. So FOP is considerably more rare than that. If you took the largest football stadiums in the world that could hold 100,000 people, you'd have to fill 20 stadiums to capacity to find one child who had FOP.
We were actually told that they thought he had FOP, and that was I honestly don't remember. I remember I didn't talk. I didn't say anything. I don't remember. Do you?
No, I was pretty angry for a long time after that, so I don't remember a whole lot. I remember getting mad a lot, crying a lot, and wanting to throw things around, but I don't remember details too clearly. I remember being at the hospital and making a lot of phone calls to family, and then they started looking it up, and I remember the doctors coming in with a packet kind of telling us what it was, and I remember reading through it, and you get to a point where you don't want to read it anymore.
Although folks with FOP might have a noticeable amount of stiffness and problem with general mobility in their trunk and their neck and their shoulders, generally they're able to get around pretty well into their 20s, sometimes even into their 30s.
My name is Whitney Weldon. I'm 18 years old, and when I was 8, I was diagnosed with a rare bone disease called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. My hip fused, so I have to walk with a limp, and my left leg doesn't straighten all the way when I'm standing and walking. My right arm is fused, so it's kind of at like a 90-degree angle. I don't really think about the future because I don't really know what's going to come. It's not set in stone, the progress my body's going to make.
Oh my God, take us so and pull it back with a button. Okay.
I really just try to take it day by day, and that's all you can do. I mean, if you look ahead and think this can happen, it's just going to make you miserable. Stacy and I are probably more on the same page as to, you know, all things kind of happen for a reason, you just deal with it. Where Dave is definitely more angry, like, why is this happening to us? He looks ahead and gets upset because things that he thinks about, you know, it makes him upset, and then he's miserable. And, you know, that's tough, you know, and it's tough to have a relationship with someone like that as well. And I just kind of made it that I'm not going to be unhappy. I can't be unhappy for Josh. I have to be strong for him.
Despite the physical immobility, despite the physical disability that FOP imposes, FOP patients find a way around it.
Hunting and fishing, that's what I like to do. That's the only thing I like to do.
I'll sell everything and never hunt again if he can't hunt with me.
That's Daddy's goal. He's afraid, though, when his arms get locked up, he won't be able to. So.
And he loves it. I mean, he would go in a second if I said, let's go. But I take him scout with me sometimes. We'll put trail cameras out. And he can't go. I won't ever go again. Jay, I already got the 2-man tree stand.
He can always go. I said, and they have so many, like, modifications that you can make nowadays, you know. But I always think there's possibilities to do anything. If you want him to do it bad enough, he can do it. You know, even if it's just, you know, pull of a trigger or, you know, whatever. I mean, it can be modified. But Daddy has a hard time with that.
If he gets a little older, I always said that
That's a touchy subject.
Texas, there's no age limit. And I said if he's old enough, 5, 6, 7, I would sooner sell everything, pay for one trip, and then not go again, rather than stay around here and never be able to take them, you know.
FOP affects mobility, and it affects mobility at a time in life when children and young and adolescents are really clamoring for independence.
When we're bathing him, we just try to be a little extra careful, obviously, because everything in the bathtub is hard. Can't leave your hand off of him at all just because of the fear that he could just easily tilt backwards because of the stiffness in his back.
I mean, he'll wash a little bit and dumps a lot of soapy water on his head. And
yeah, he tries to bathe himself, but he, when he, you know, takes the water, he can only get like up here. He can't get completely on his head. He'll take a washcloth, and if I tell him, he'll rub his belly, which that's something I think we have to, as parents, start to do a little bit more of, is to give him more independence. I think we do for him because we know he can't do it.
Do you want me to lift you up, or are you going to stand? You going to do it yourself? Come on, get up. Well, hurry up and get up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job.
There are things that he can do, and I think we have to, you know, start letting him be a little bit more independent.
Yeah, but you have to eat breakfast first.
No!
Yes. Yes.
I want one.
No.
Yeah.
No. Do not hit. Go to your room. Go to timeout now. Go. Get up. Timeout. Get up. Time out now. Go. That's it. You're going to be in trouble when Daddy gets home. Get up now. Go. Stand up.
I think I have a very hard time disciplining Josh because I tell him to go to timeout and he doesn't go. He throws himself on the floor and he lays there. He's so long and he's so stiff. And for me to pick him up and him thrash and move, I'm afraid that I'm actually going to hurt him more.
Are you going to listen? Are you going to listen? Then close that door. Close the door. Can you say you're sorry and I will listen?
Okay.
You're sorry? Are you going to be a good boy? Are you going to be a good boy?
All we have is timeout. You can't do anything
Yeah.
else, and that doesn't work.
And if you can't get them to time out safely, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
80% of the funds that have been raised over the last 20 years for FOP research in the United States and actually throughout the world have come from patients and families.
It wasn't until he started having flare-ups that I kind of was like, all right, there's definitely something going on. Maybe he really does have FOP and we got to do something. Chrissy decided that she was going to do fundraising for Josh, and she hasn't stopped since. Our largest fundraiser we do currently is the Bingo for a Cure event.
I had the great pleasure and honor of attending the Bingo for a Cure event in 2009.
Last year we made over $60,000 on that one-day event. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to pull that off again.
It was really heartwarming to see this, the outpouring of love and of support from the Allentown community and its environments for Josh and his family.
Right now we're close to the $200,000 mark for the amount of money that we've raised so far. All that money has been sent directly to the IFOPA for research.
I really got to understand what the condition, how the condition affects not just an individual, but affects the whole family, affects the community.
Finding a babysitter is very difficult. It's hard to find a babysitter, I think, in general, to start with. However, for us, for me, I know, I just get very, very nervous just leaving him with somebody who, they're young adults, they're teenagers, but, they still, I don't know if they truly understand what he has.
Just say hi. Hi. Say hi. Yeah, I'm babysitting him for the first time. I'm scared to death just because, of his disease. I don't want him falling or, it's just, babysitting's scary, but especially with a kid like him. So I have to be extra careful. I don't want anything to happen.
Somebody's a police man.
What is that?
Bad.
Police badge? Do you want to put it on?
No.
Why?
After I get bigger than I will.
You get bigger?
I want to be a police man.
That's what you're going to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
No, I want to be a baseball player.
A baseball
I want to be
player?
a football player.
And what else?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's that.
What?
What's that?
Jacks?
And two that.
What else do you want to do when you grow up? Josh, you can't do that, okay? Okay? You don't want to hurt your back. Okay? Okay?
If
You okay?
Josh does fall or Josh does hurt himself while they're here, that's my biggest thing, because I wouldn't want them to have the guilt of his injury, which, because it happens. I mean, how many times do, we try to protect him here at home and he hurts himself, he falls, it happens. So with the babysitter, it's, I don't want them to take that upon themselves.
One can't predict when the next flare-up of FOP is going to occur. One cannot predict how long it's going to last, and one can't predict how severe it's going to be, but one can predict that it will occur. But again, it shows the endurance of the human spirit, and that's one of the great lessons that I've learned about FOP.
Hey!
Okay, Jason.
I love you, Boogie.
Knock it off. But we'll go outside.
I should paint his face up.
No!
Yeah, like an army guy.
I don't like these store-bought costumes sometimes because they kind of look cheap. So I try to make it look as realistic as possible,
Wait, where did Joshua go? I can't see him.
Shh, Mommy don't even know where you're at. You're all camo.
Oh my God. Where's Josh?
Right here.
Hey, Daddy, where did Joshua go? Anybody know where Josh went?
A little bit more on your other cheek.
Right here.
Oh, there he is.
Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween!
Is this fun? Don't forget, you gotta say trick or treat, and then you gotta say thank you, okay? Don't forget. Go ahead, try it this time. My favorite part of Halloween is trick or treating. We just like to, my whole family, we get together and we like to take the kids out and going trick or treating.
Come on, Josh.
That might be.
Who is that?
Josh, who's
You know
that?
who that is?
Now that's Buzz Lightyear, right? Look. Look. Oh my goodness. Okay, come on, let's go.
I like Buzz Lightyear.
You like that? I know you do.
I'm sure Josh, despite whatever physical limitations he has now or he may have in the future as a result of his FOP, he will prevail and he will find ways to have a successful life.
I truly believe they are going to find a cure. I truly believe that, you know, all of our fundraising hasn't been done in vain, and that, you know, we're going to make a difference.
I can't say when, but I'm very hopeful that that we'll get there in time for a number of folks who have the condition right now.
You know, there is a cure out there, and it's just a matter of the funding that they need to get the cure and make the cure happen. And if it does, I mean, he can live a healthy life. But right now he's suffering and he has pain every day of his life, and he's still happy. And that amazes me because there are so many unhappy people in this world.